Hi guys, and welcome to this lesson. And in this lesson we will learn about how to insert SVG icons. So what are SVG icons? So SVG stands for Scalable Vector Graphic Icons. And these icons are used when you need to resize or color or do anything with a particular image without losing image quality. So if you use an SVG icon, do whatever you want to with it without losing image quality. So Microsoft Word 2019 allows you to use these icons in your Word document and resize them according to your needs, and you won't lose image quality. So how do you insert these icons? So it's fairly simple, just like we've inserted equations before, and how just like we insert pictures in our Word document, you simply need to go to the Insert tab over here on your ribbon area, and then under Illustrations, where you also inserted 3D models as well, right on top of 3D models and right next to pictures, you can see there is icons. So if you click icons, it will again give you a dialog box just like it gave you in inserting 3D models. It gives you a vast variety of icons you can choose from. So it has animals, it has clothing, it has different types of arrows that you want to use, and you can also explore other icons as well. For example, people. If I choose people, I can get icons related to people. If I choose sports, I can get icons related to sports. For instance, I have a football over here, I have a soccer ball over here. So let's choose a soccer ball for now, and let's also choose a football for now. Great. So as soon as I click insert after selecting these two icons that Word provides us with, it will download the icons into our Word document, and this may again take a while depending on the speed of your internet connection, because it fetches these icons from an online source directly into your Microsoft Word document. So as you can see that we have successfully inserted two icons. We can move them around by clicking tab on your computer. We can also resize them according to our needs. If I want to resize this soccer ball, and if I want to resize this football, and you can notice that I don't lose the image quality. But right now you will notice that if I resize it, it's not losing image quality, but there is still something that's missing. And we can remove the background for this. So for example, if I go to graphic styles over here, I need to select this soccer ball first. I need to click on this arrow right over here, go down and choose a transparent background. So as soon as I choose transparent background, you can see that it removes the color. Now if I resize, it won't lose image quality at all. So these are the advantages that we get by using icons that Word provides us with. So I hope you learned how to insert icons. I hope you learned what an SVG icon is. And just to recall, an SVG icon is a scalable vector graphic icon, and you do not lose quality if you use images or icons that are scalable or in SVG format. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I hope you learned a lot. Stay tuned, stay focused, and let's move to our next lesson. Hi guys, and in this lesson we will be working with equations in Word. So this is a really awesome feature that Word has provided us with, and using this feature we can insert and change equations and also convert equations using a Word rather than using a third-party software or doing it by ourselves. So basically Word will do this for you. So how do you insert an equation in Word? So you simply need to go to this insert menu over here. On your ribbon, you need to click on insert, and then you need to search for equations. And if you recall, in one of our previous lessons, you can always use your Tell Me assistant, which is right over here, to search for equations, and it will obviously help you find where you can insert equations from. So under the insert area, you need to go to the symbols section over here, and then as you can see that we have a button over here which says equation. So if I directly click on this button, it will give me a box or a kind of a text box where I can type my equation. And if, for example, if you do not know which equation to type in, you can simply delete this box, go back to insert, and then click on the arrow right next to equation. And once you click on it, it gives you a couple of built-in equations that it has. So it has 4 or I guess 6 built-in functions over here. First is the area of circle, second is the binomial theorem, third is the expansion of a sum, and so on. So let's quickly choose binomial theorem, for example, over here. So as soon as I click binomial theorem, it'll give me the equation in a box. And as you can see, it also has an arrow over here. So this gives us the equation options. And as soon as I click here, it gives me further options to convert the equation. So if I want the equation in linear format, I can simply click on this arrow over here and click on linear. And if I do not want to convert it from here, I can always go back to design. After inserting an equation, go to convert in the conversion section. And from here I can choose linear. And as you can see that it has successfully converted my equation into linear format without me doing it itself. So let's get back to the current professional equation over here. And great, so we have successfully inserted an equation, a built-in equation in Microsoft Word 2019. So there are also other ways by which you can insert equation into Word, and there are really cool ways to do that. So let's quickly delete this equation right over here. Go back to insert, click the arrow right next to equation in our symbol section, and if I go down on the bottom of this box over here, you can see that I have this ink equation option. So as soon as I click this ink equation, it will give me a pop-up or a dialog box which says that you need to write your math here, which means that write your equation in this box over here with your mouse. And as soon as you write your equation, you just need to click insert, and then that equation will be added to your Word document. So in order to do this, let's quickly write a simple equation, which is a pi. And as you can see, it creates the equation over here if it knows that what I am writing in this box over here. So pi r square, and this is just, by the way, the area of a circle. And as soon as I click insert, it gives me the equation right over here. So this is how easy it is to insert equation in Microsoft Word 2019, and you can always convert your equations into different formats. You can use structures for your equation. You can also insert symbols in your Word document. So this is a really great feature that Microsoft Word has provided us with in Microsoft Word 2019. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Stay tuned, stay focused, and with this, let's move to our next lesson.
Welcome back. I hope you're enjoying the content. You're finding this course valuable so far. Even though there are a few lessons down, there are several more lessons and lectures that are about to come. So if you would like to leave a review at this point in time by just taking a few lectures and you feel the content is valuable and you're happy with it, please do so. Otherwise, I would recommend you go on, continue further with this particular course. And as you move along lectures, you'll definitely gain some additional knowledge, skills, and enhance your skills as well. and later on you can always come back and leave a review accordingly. We value your feedback. If you do not find something within the given lectures, for instance, feel free to reach out to me directly, send a message, let us know which lecture, which topics, or which areas of this course that you'd like for us to concentrate on further, and let us know, and we'll be happy to create those lectures for you. Our ultimate goal is to make sure that you get the best learning experience and gain sufficient knowledge from this particular course. We teach over 200,000 plus happy students on Udemy, and we have over 50 courses so far. So every course that we make, our goal is to take you through a progression, because it's really a learning journey as you progress through the course. If you're an experienced person, for instance, you may find certain lectures real novice at this point in time, but if you're a beginner, that's perfect. So let us know how the pace is. We try to keep the courses or the pace of the courses to cater to all level of students. But of course, if you find something interesting, if you need to learn more, feel free to reach out. I'll be happy to assist. We at Team CLIDESK strive to provide the best learning experience to you, and we create our courses accordingly. With our ample experience, industry level experience, and real world experience, we try to bring projects in so that you get the best of what's really happening in the real world. So go ahead, I welcome you again. Continue with the learning journey. If you have any questions, definitely post in the discussion area. If you need something additional, let us know. I'll be happy to help. With this, I'll see you in the next lecture.
Hi guys, and welcome back to this course. And in this particular lesson, we will be working with another great feature of Microsoft Word 2019, and that feature is inserting 3D models directly into your Word document. So Microsoft Word gives you a variety of 3D models to choose from, but you can also insert 3D models from your computer or from an online source. So let's quickly jump into how you can insert 3D models and how to use them. So let's quickly open up a new blank document for this lesson. So we need to go to our Backstage view. We need to click File, and then if you want to open a new document, as we learned in one of our previous lessons, you need to click New over here and then open a blank document if you do not want any template that Word provides you with. So simply click on a blank document and it will open up a blank Word document for you. Now, how do you insert a 3D model into your Microsoft Word document? So it's fairly simple. You just need to go to the Insert menu on your ribbon. You need to click Insert, and then in the Illustrations section right over here, you can see that you can insert pictures by clicking on this button over here. You can also insert online pictures by clicking this button over here, and right on the right side of online pictures you have 3D models. So you can insert a 3D model so you can rotate it and see all of its angles. So if I press this arrow button right over here, right next to 3D models, you will notice that it gives us two further options. I can either choose it from a file in my PC, or I can bring a 3D model from an online source. And if I directly click on 3D model button over here, it will give me a pop-up and it will give all the online 3D models that Microsoft Word provides with. So there is a vast variety of models that you can choose from. You have different emojis, you have stickers, you can insert animals, and you can also insert math symbols if you're teaching math to your students using a Word document. You can also insert, let's say if you want to plan a space, you can insert 3D models of a house or something like that. So for example, let's choose a 3D image from here. So if I click Planar Space, it will further give me a lot of images that I can choose from. So let's quickly add this image over here. And I can also choose multiple images to be inserted at once. But for now, I'm just going to choose one and I'm going to click on Insert. So as soon as I click Insert, you can see that it gives us a dialog box which says that inserting 3D model. So now it is inserting the 3D model from an online source into your Word document on your PC. So it may take a while depending on the internet connection speed that you have, as it fetches the image from an online source onto your local computer. So as you can see, we have successfully inserted a 3D model of a study table in our Word document. We can play around with this obviously. So if I hover over my cursor or my pointer on this circle over here, if I keep on clicking it with the left click of my mouse or keyboard on your laptop, you can move around this image and you can see all of its angles. You can see it from the back as well, you can see it from the front, from the top, and also from the bottom. So this is how easy it is to insert 3D models on your Word document. So I hope you learned, I hope you enjoyed. Go ahead and insert more 3D models in your Word document. Practice with this, and with this, let's move to our next lesson. Hi guys, and welcome back. In this lesson, we will be learning how to insert a header and a footer on your Word document in Word 2019. So first of all, you need to open up a Word document that you need to edit. And to do this, if you have seen one of my previous lessons, you need to click on File over here, go to your Backstage view, then click on Open, and then you can either open a document from your OneDrive or from your PC. So I'm going to open it from my PC, and I'm just going to simply click on this document right over here that we are using right now, and it's in my Recents area. So I simply need to click on this and it will open up my Word document. Perfect. So it's really simple to insert a header and footer in your Word document. And in order to do this, you need to move your cursor on the top of the page and simply double click. And as you can see, I just double clicked on the top of my page and I have my header area. And I can insert any text I want to in my header area. And in order to do this, I simply need to type on my keyboard. So let's say I need to insert my name here. So I'm going to insert my name, and then either I can click escape on my keyboard, or I can simply double click anywhere on my Word document to get rid of the header area and come back to my Word document. And as you can see, the text that I inserted is still displayed on my header. So this is how easy it is to insert header in your Word document. To insert text in the middle of your Word document, you can simply hit Tab once on your keyboard. And as you can see, it takes you to the center of your document. And if you want to insert text on the right side of your document, you can hit Tab once again and it will take you to the right side of your document. And to do this from your ribbon area, you simply need to go to Home menu on your ribbon and then go to the Paragraph section over here and choose where do you want to align your text, whether you want it to be center, whether you want it left aligned, or whether you want it right aligned. So I'm going to choose it to be center aligned for now. Great. Hit escape on your keyboard and it will bring you back to your Word document where you can edit it. Similarly, same is the case with the footer area. You need to scroll to the bottom of your page, hit the left key on your mouse 2 times, and it will give you the footer area where you can insert any text you like. So I'm just gonna insert my website name over here, which is claydesk.com. Perfect. And I'm gonna center align it as well. So either I can hit tab and then insert my text, or I can go to home menu on my ribbon and simply go to the paragraph section again and click on this center align button. And as you can see, my website name is now center align on my Word document. Double click somewhere else on the Word document and start editing your document again. And now you have your header as well as your footer on your Word document. And if you notice, if I scroll down on my second page as well, the header and footer automatically shows up. So I only inserted the header and footer on my first page of my Word document, but now they will be displayed on every page of my Word document, regardless of how many pages I have. So this is how easy Microsoft Word 2019 makes it for beginners to edit Word documents. Now, one more thing that I want to show you guys in this particular lesson is how can you set up your page by simply clicking on your Word document, just like you inserted a header and a footer. So you need to go back to the top of your page, double click so you get your header area, and then you need to double click again on your header area, and once you do that, you can see that it gives you a dialog box. And using this dialog box, you can set margins for your page, you can set the orientation of your page, whether you want it in landscape mode or in portrait mode. You can set pages. You can also set what size do you want for your page to be. Do you want it in letter format? Do you want it A3, A4, and so many other types of paper sizes. You can also adjust your width and height of the page by yourself if you want custom dimensions. And you can also set the layout of your page by going to this layout menu on the page setup dialog box. So this is how easy it is to set up your page just using your mouse or the cursor pad on your laptop. Great. So this was the end of this lesson. I hope you guys learned how to insert header, footer, and how to set up your page by simply double clicking on your header area. With this, let's move to our next lesson.
Alright, lecture 2 is about merging multiple documents and comparing documents. So in essence, two concepts that we'll take a look at is how to compare two different documents and then how to combine and merge two separate documents. Very powerful feature, very easy to use, and you can work with it, save a lot of time when you have multiple documents that you work with. You want to be able to compare them side by side or merge them into a single document, track changes. So for example, if you're in case when you work with other authors and reviewers on multiple copies of the same document, you can collect the copies and then use the combine command to merge the documents and produce a single document. In other cases, you might simply want to compare two versions of the document to view how the two versions differ. So when you compare two documents, basically what happens is that the differences between the original document and the revised document are shown in the original document, and we'll see and how their track changes. So let's get right into it and let me show you how it's done. So both of these options are located under my review tab. This is where I will find the options of how to compare and combine. Okay, so I can either compare two versions of a document or I can combine versions from multiple authors into a single document. Okay, so we'll take a look at each of these options and how to work with it to make your life easier and save you lots and lots of time. What I've done is I've actually created two separate documents here. Okay, so this is the original document and this is my revised document. Okay? So just to save on time, what I've done is I've created two sets of documents. So let me first show you exactly what these documents look like before we start working with them. So again, these are two different documents. So let me open up the original document first, and all I have here is just a single paragraph, just some text that I have. Similarly, let me close this and open up the revised document. So in this document, I've made some changes to the original document. For example, there's a new line that I've added here and other changes as well, and so forth. Okay, so two sets of documents. So let's take a look at how to work with the compare and combine commands features in Word 2013. So here I have a new set of document, a blank document that I've opened, and I like to first use the compare option. So I'm going to compare the two versions of a document. Okay, so I click on this option called compare documents. Here's on the left side is my original document. I need to locate that wherever that is. So I need to browse, I need to go to my desktop and just simply select my original document and click open. Okay, same thing I do with the revised document. Okay, so since I'm comparing documents, I need two documents, right? So exactly the same process. I go to my desktop and this time I select the revised document and click open. So now I have two sets of documents. I have the original document on the left and the revised document on the right. And notice how it says label changes with displays my name. It basically, when it tracks changes, it tells you who made the changes. So you can name it your own name or your company's name or however you want to do this. All right, some comparison setting options. So what Word 2013 does is whatever you select is what it's going to compare the two documents with. So for example, if I need to compare moves within the two documents, I can check this box. If there are any comments that are made in one of the documents and not the other, it will compare this option. Formatting changes will be compared. Similarly, case changes, white spaces, tables, headers, footers, text boxes, and fields. So everything that you select here, Word is going to compare the two. And then the show changes option here, you can select how do you want to display the changes within these documents. You can either select the character level or the word level. And how do you want to display these changes? So you want to show these changes in the original document or in the revised document, or you want to create a new document by comparing two sets of documents. So let's leave this option as a new document, so we'll be able to see how Word 2013 takes the original document, takes a revised document, compares the two, and creates a new document with those changes. Okay, so all I have to do is I've already selected my original, I already have selected my revised document, and I want to be able to work with all these options. Okay, I'm going to leave it all checked because I may have some footers and headers, even though I do not in this particular exercise, but you may. So I'm just going to click OK. And what Word does is basically creates a new document here, right? And displays and compares the two documents. And it tracks changes, so it shows me everything that's highlighted in red are the changes that I made to the within the revised document. Now notice this really doesn't really give me a whole lot of information, right? It's just like, okay, fine, it compares it and then gives me a new document, but how do I know which document is which? Real simple, all you have to do is just go up to your ribbon area in the reviewing pane. It shows all the changes to your documents in a list. So all you have to do is select the right option that you want. So you want a reviewing pane vertical or you want it as a horizontal option. Okay, so now I have a new document with the two compared documents that I can see, but this doesn't really give me a whole lot of information, right? It doesn't show me the source document, doesn't really get to, I need to see the revised document, I want to be able to have some more visuals. Real simple. Let's go back to our compare command, and in the same menu, show source documents. Here you can have the options to either look at the original document, revise, or show both. So we're just going to select show both. So we're going to see both documents side by side. On the top right hand side is my original document, and I can work with it. Right below the original document, I have my revised document. Okay, so here are the changes that I made to the revised document. And on the left side, I have the compared document that Word 2013 did for me. It also tells me that I've made 2 revisions between the original and the revised. So there are 2 revisions, and it lists all these revisions. So the first change that I made was I added this sentence. Before I begin changing the document, let's consider the following facts. And the second change that I did was to add the last line. Okay? Also, I need to work on several projects before I go home. So a really powerful feature. Same thing, I can highlight, work with the text, do whatever I want to do with it. I can save it as a new document once I compare results. I can accept the changes if I'm reviewing, and we'll take a look at in our future tutorial. I'll show you when we work with track changes is how to work with accepting these changes and rejecting them and so forth. Okay, but for now, just a quick concept on how to compare 2 documents. And if I want to be able to take a look at just the original document, show original document, it'll give me the original document here. I can close the revisions, I can close this, and it'll be back to my original. If I need to get back to my revised document, it will show me the revised document, and I can simply take a look at the revised document, and so forth. So I can play around with this. Okay, so powerful feature when you compare 2 documents in Microsoft Word 2013. Okay, let's move on to the next concept, which is the combine feature. Okay, so the combine revisions from multiple authors into a single document. Notice the distinct difference. The comparison is the 2 versions of documents. In here, you're combining revisions from 2 different authors into a single document. So let's take a look at how this works. So I'm going to close this for now, so we can start afresh. Here's my document, so I need to work with the combine option now. So I go to my compare and combine option, and I select combine. This dialog box is exactly the same as in compare and combine, so I'm going to pick up my original document just like I did before. Okay, so this is good practice. I go to my desktop. Here's my original document, and then on the right side I select my revised document. Same thing. I have 2 documents. And same options for my comparison settings, and then whether I want to show changes at the character level or word level. And in this case also, we'll have a new document open once Word 2013 combines these 2 documents together. One thing you might have noticed here is that under the original document, the label changes also shows my name as the original document author, and in the revised document, it also shows my name because they both belong to me. So in your work environment, you may have several individuals or different authors working on documents that you want to combine. So once I have set these options, I'm going to click OK, and Word is going to combine these 2 documents. So when you combine documents, the difference between the original and revised documents are shown as track changes. So if a revised document includes track changes, then these changes are also displayed in the combined document as track changes. So each reviewer is identified in the combined documents as well. Okay, so powerful feature. And same thing, I can go up to my show source documents, and I want to be able to see both documents at the same time. And I can accept the change. This is the change that it highlights. Once I click accept, it's going to become permanent in my combined document, which is, again, it's a new document, right? So nothing changes in the original document. Nothing changes in the revised document. The only changes that I accepted here was in the combined document, which is a new document that I've created. Okay, so there aren't any comments or correct changes in the documents, so I've selected, I've accepted all these changes. Okay, so if I close the original document, the revised document, so here's my document, new document, which combines both the original and the revised documents, and I can now save it as the way I want to, wherever I want to. Okay, so I hope the concepts of comparing and combining documents is now clear. So let's answer a couple of questions just to reinforce what we've seen. Here's a little quiz.
Welcome back, guys, and in this lesson we will go through a really helpful feature in Microsoft Word 2019, and this feature is for absolute beginners and first-time users who are using Microsoft Word 2019. So in order to use this feature, we obviously need to open up a document first, and as we learned in the previous lesson, to open up a document, we need to navigate to our Backstage view, and over here we can either open up a document from our drive or from our PC. So first of all, you need to click on Open here, and then you need to click on this PC if you want to open a document from your PC, and then you need to click on the document that you want to open. So I want to open my sample document that I also used in the previous lesson. And the new feature that we're going to learn in this lesson is the Tell Me Assistant present for you guys in Microsoft Word 2019. And what this feature does is that it helps you navigate to different features present in Microsoft Word 2019. So in order to use this feature, you can either use the shortcut, which is Alt on your keyboard, and the Q key on your keyboard. And to navigate to this feature, you need to simply go to this bar over here which says tell me what you want to do. So this is basically your Word Assistant. So for example, as we learned in the previous lesson how to read a document by going into the read mode, if you still do not know how to do it, you can click on this bar over here and type in read, and it will give you an option which says read, and this is the read mode feature in Word. So if you click on this, it will take you to the read mode feature in Word without you navigating to the feature itself. So you can easily read your document in this mode. And to go back, obviously if you recall to the previous lesson, you simply need to click on this button over here, which is your print layout mode, and this will take you back to the original view where you can edit your document as well. And remember, you cannot edit your document in the read mode, you can only edit your document in the print layout mode. Great. So this is how easy it is to use the Tell Me Assistant present in Word 2019. And this feature is created for absolute beginners, as I said earlier, and for newbies who are first-time users of Word 2019. So for instance, if you do not know how to use margins in Microsoft Word, you can simply navigate to this bar and type for margin instead of read this time, and it will give you an option adjust margins, and over here you can choose whichever margin you would like to. You just need to hover over your cursor over here and select any of these margins. You have the normal margin option. It also gives you the dimensions of each margin that you want to select. You can use the narrow margin, you can use the moderate margin. It also has the wide margin and also the mirrored margin. Great. So this is how easy it is to use this feature present in Microsoft Word, and this is really helpful for beginners. And I would recommend beginners to use this feature in order to learn Microsoft Word instead of wasting their time navigating to each feature and each menu on your ribbon one by one. So I hope you learned a lot in this lesson. I hope you learned how to use the Tell Me Assistant, your own personal assistant on Word. And with this, let's move to our next lesson. Hi guys, and welcome back. In this lesson, we will be learning the learning tools present in Word 2019. So this is a brand new feature that Microsoft Word has given us, and this is really helpful for people who do not want to read, who have difficulty reading any text present on a Word document. So you can learn basically by using these learning tools. So let's quickly go to these learning tools in Word 2019, and to navigate to these tools you simply need to open up a Word document first, obviously, and I've told you how to do this in one of my previous lessons. And then you need to simply click on View tab on your ribbon, and just keep in mind that every feature is present in the ribbon area on your Word 2019. So you need to click on View and then go to this immersive section over here, and as you can see that there is only one option present in this immersive section, which is the learning tools. So you need to click on learning tools right over here. Great. So here I have a complete new page layout, and from here I can change the column width, I can change the page color, I can increase text spacing, and if I click this, you will notice that the spaces between the text are removed. I can use syllables, and I can also use a word to read the document aloud for me if I do not want to read myself. So let's quickly cover the first option that we have in Learning Tools section. So the first is the column of width. So we can adjust this column of width, and this gives us 4 more options. It can be very narrow, it can be narrow, it can be moderate, and it can be wide. So what happens if I click on very narrow? So if I click on very narrow, it will decrease the column width that I have. If I click on moderate, it will increase the column width, obviously. And if I click on wide, it will almost remove the column of width that I have. So let's quickly shift it to narrow again. Great. So this is the column of width tool that we have in our learning tool section. The next is the page color. So this is used by people to reduce eye strain. So to reduce eye strain, you can change the color of your page so you can easily read without putting strain on your eyes. So you can click on this option over here, and you have 3 further options. The first one is none, which means no page color. Second one is sepia, and the third one is inverse. So let's quickly see what inverse does to our document. So if I click on inverse, you can see that it changes the background color to black, and it highlights our text over here. So it makes kind of more easier for a person to read text present on their Word document. Great. So this is a really helpful feature in learning tools as well. The next is the text spacing. But first, let me change this back to none. So we have no page color. Great. Now the third tool that we have is text spacing, and this is used by people so they can read easily if they have trouble reading text in a Word document. So as soon as I click on text spacing, you will notice that spaces are created between every letter in a Word document, and it becomes more easier to read words present on our Word document. The fourth is similar, but it basically creates spaces between each separate word. So if I click on syllables over here, it will create spaces between words so we can improve our pronunciation. So Word also allows new users to improve their pronunciation while reading a text document. And the fifth feature is an amazing feature. This feature reads the text present on your Word document aloud for you. So you do not have to read it by yourself, and if you're tired reading a Word document by your own self, you can allow Word to read it for you. So as soon as I click on read aloud, it will start reading the document for me. So I'm going to click on read aloud now.
And India. Claydesk is the emerging leader in business and legal process outsourcing industry.
Great. So as you can see that it started reading aloud the Word document for me. So basically, if you're tired reading, you can use this option in Learning Tools and it will start reading for you. So these are 5 features that Word 2019 gives us under Learning Tools, and we can use these features to help ourselves while using Microsoft Word. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I hope you learned a lot from this lesson. Stay tuned, stay focused, and with this, let's move to our next lesson. Hi guys, and welcome to this lesson. And in this lesson, we are going to learn a really helpful and amazing feature that Word 2019 gives us. So before this feature, we needed to copy the entire document in order to translate into another language. So we needed to copy all of the document, all the text that's present in a document, and then we had to use a third-party translator to translate a document. But with this feature, this new feature in Word, Microsoft Word, it helps you to translate without using a third-party feature. So it's really easy to do this, and all of these features are present in the ribbon area in your Microsoft Word. So simply, you don't even need to highlight the text that you want to translate. So basically, in order to translate your Word document, you need to open it up first, obviously. And I've explained how to open a Word document, how to close a Word document, and how to read a Word document by going to read mode in one of my previous lessons. So in order to translate a Word document, you need to go to the review menu on your ribbon over here. So you simply need to click review and go to the language section over here. So as you can see, the first option that you have in the language section is translate. So you simply need to click this option over here, and it gives you 2 further options to choose from. So the first is translate section. This means that you can either translate a particular section of your Word document. It can either be 1 paragraph, 1 line, 2 lines, whichever you want to translate. Or you can either translate the entire document for yourself or for others to read. So let's quickly translate the entire document, and I will demonstrate how to do this by a few simple steps, just 1 or 2 steps, and your document will be translated. So you need to click translate document over here, and it will open up the translator on the right side of your Microsoft Word, and you will be able to see your document on the left side. So in order to translate, you simply need to tell what language is it in, and Word can also auto detect the language that you're using. So you can either use the auto detect feature, on Word, or you can simply tell a Word to make it much easier for Word and to omit errors, minor errors that Word can make, obviously. So for example, I'm using English, so I can type in English over here, choose this language that I need to translate from English to another language, and I need to change this language over here. So for example, let's translate this to Spanish. So I can simply type in Spanish over here, select this option, and then I need to only click translate over here. So this time taken will depend on how much text is there on your Word document. If there are a couple of pages, it may take some time, and if there are only 1 or 2 pages, it might take only a couple of seconds. So as you can see on the right side, it says translation is complete. The translated document is open in a separate window. So let's click OK, and as you can see here that I have 2 documents over here, and if I hover over to this document, it has successfully translated all my text into Spanish language. So this is how easy it is to use this translate feature in Word 2019. I hope you find this lesson really helpful. Please share this course with others that you think can benefit from this course. And with this, let's move to our next lesson.